Also, the Neil Huffman Automotive Group is growing. In fact, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary today. It's exciting, and if you're close to a Neil Huffman Automotive Group location, you should go out there and celebrate. Since 1969. I checked in with them a little bit earlier today and met some nice people, and this is what it was like there at Neil Huffman. We're coming to you from the Neil Huffman Auto Group, and it is a celebration. 50 years of being in business, since 1969. Now, to be in business that long, of course, you not only have to have a commitment to excellence, but you also have to be entrenched in the community and give back. And that's important here at the Neil Huffman Auto Group. I have two very special guests. First of all, here she is. She's a Huffman. Kim Huffman is with us. And Kim, you knew from an early age that it wasn't just about automobiles, it was about really getting involved in the community. That was important to your father, yes. It's important to you, yes. Your brother Dow. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, Dad started the community involvement. He said you give to the community, they give back to us. And we started out with Dixie Highway, Shelbyville areas, and we expanded on who we were going to give out to. And his philosophy was, they're family. And if we can treat our customers as family, and we treat their needs, they'll come back and treat us just as well.
Yeah, as you know, if you're probably a customer of the Neil Huffman Auto Group, and they do treat customers very, very well. But again, back to the community, I wanted to talk to David Nelson, who is the general manager here at the Dixie Highway location. David, your project here, a lot of emphasis this year on Maryhurst. Tell me a little bit about that.
So absolutely, with our Subaru brand, our Share the Love sponsor that we did with them, we've donated quite a bit of money going to Maryhurst this year to continue our community involvement. I know as a company, our corporation does a lot as well, but that was one that we really chose this year. We've had different ones in the past, but we wanted to stick back with some actual people this time, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. We're talking about Kentucky Humane Society, Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We can go on and on. The Kentucky Derby Festival that you all love, they've been big supporters. Okay, Kim, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the history, and I found it interesting when you and I were chatting. There's a little bit of international history at this location because of the Volkswagen.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that. That's cool.
Well, Dad decided that he wanted to be on Dixie Highway. The proximity of it had to do with Fort Knox. The fellas from Fort Knox knew about the German products, and they came up here and made the drive from E-Town to come up here, and so this is what they want to do. So we took it beyond the local area here for that.
That's interesting to me, this special interest in Volkswagen brand. Your dad recognized that.
Right.
And you know what? You see Volkswagens everywhere now, thanks to Neil Huffman.
Well, I hope so. We 50 years. We want to say that we put a mark here because we love this. We love this industry. We love the city, and obviously we love the location here.
Yep. Yeah, the success is obvious because they have certainly grown. 10 franchises, David. Right. Tell me a little bit about the growth of the Auto Group.
Well, so, within the last few years, we've added, Auto Group's added their stores out in the Frankfort location. But, it all started right here on Dixie Highway with the Volkswagen store, and then just grew from there with, 2018 being a record year for the Auto Group. And, we don't plan on looking back anytime soon. 19 is going to be the same way.
50 years. I mean, how proud would your dad be? When he passed away in 2007, it really affected the entire community. And I can't imagine how it affected you, your mother, and Dow. But how proud would he be of this day? I mean, look at the growth here, Kim. You, Dow, and people like David have really taken over and continue the legacy.
We had a basis background because Dad really came in and said, this is how I think we should treat people. And each one of us said, every time we make a decision, this is what Dad would do. Neil would do this, Neil won't do this, and we stayed with a philosophy of how we were brought up and continued it. Yes, he'd be really proud of us.
Yes, yes. And David, the culture here is all about customer first. As I said, you don't stay in business since 1969, 50 years, right, unless the customer is treated well. Tell me about that.
Well, it's very true. I mean, it's all the way down to every employee that we have. I mean, from the front line, from my chair, all the way down to our porters and our wash bay. I mean, we've got to treat them the way that we want our family to be treated in order for them to come back.
Okay, for folks who are watching this right now, if they'd like to celebrate with you, what's happening? I see a lot of food, some drinks, there's some pictures here that depict the history of the Neil Huffman Auto Group. So what's going on?
Well, we're having an open house, so anybody's welcome to come in. We would love to have you here. We're going to have the mayor's office come in about 11:30 and do a proclamation for us, and we're just going to say thank you for being partners. Now, I'm going to just make a back up here. On January 6, 1969, Mom and Dad opened the door with 16 employees, and it was a snowy, cold day. We have at this store a lot of the employees are still around. They are still, if they have retired, they come back. We're going to have several of our retired employees coming back today to celebrate with us. We have some long-term family here.
Again, though, I think that speaks to the culture here.
Right.
And you talked about the mayor making an appearance. He always talks about a city of compassion.
Right.
I think this business is a perfect example of that. David, before I let you go, so 50 years, look to the future a little bit. What do you see in the future here for the Neil Huffman Auto Group?
It's the same thing. We're just going to keep growing. I mean, there's no end in sight for us. The cool part is we're still a family-owned place in Louisville for all this many years. So we'll just keep on going.
All right. And Kim, you and your brother Dow, as I said, there's a lot of pride factor here.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I think you said 16 employees?
When we opened the door, 16 employees.
I don't even know if I'm blindsiding you here, but with 10 franchises, how many employees are we talking about now?
We have over 300 right now.
Ooh.
We're also in our third generation Huffman in the stores. So it's a family that is growing and staying.
Wow. Yeah. The brands that are involved with the Neil Huffman Auto Group. Right. We know and love them here in Louisville. Tell me a little bit about those, David.
So we've got Volkswagen, Mazda, Subaru here on Dixie Highway. We've got a couple of Honda stores, one in Clarksville, one out in Frankfort, Nissan in Frankfort, Buick GMC, Chevrolet out in Frankfort. So we've got Acura, obviously downtown by the malls. So we've got a little bit of everything, right, all the way from the entry levels on up to our luxury cars, and looking to fill in some holes with those too.
Kim, before I let you go and continue the celebration here, really on behalf of the community, and I mean this, whenever I've gone to something where the cause was worthy, I have seen Neil Huffman Auto Group at many, many of those events, being very philanthropic, whether it be writing checks, being present, supplying manpower.
Correct.
So what I wanted to say is, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. The community is one thing, but family, children, family, they're our future, and we've got to be able to give back to them. And that was a big philosophy that Mom and Dad both had. And we have stories. We have lots of stories, and we have stories in our cars. So if you come in today, we can tell you the stories about the cars. My father drove a Volkswagen Beetle. That was his choice, and we have it here on the floor. He loved to race, and we've got one of his race cars. So we have stories, and then you bring it in with the kids. We've got more stories with children.
Again, a big thank you to you, your mother, Dow, your brother. I really appreciate it. And thank you, David. I tell you what, keep that leadership rolling, right? Not only here on Dixie Highway, but in the community. 10 franchises, man, you've got a lot of power. Thank you for using it in the right way.
You bet. We're glad to.
All right, once again, it is the 50th anniversary. Come on out to a location near you, the Neil Huffman Auto Group.